Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show before the free show.
On
Hi.
Monday. Hi. Hi. Once again, the real adventure is like, how zoomed in will I
Like-
be? The answer,
We don't
kinda.
know.
All right. Pickle, how was your weekend? You went to a soccer match.
It was good. Yeah, I went to my first pro soccer game, FC Dallas versus the Houston Dynamo,
Mm-hmm.
and it was awesome. They waited until FC Dallas waited until about the 86th minute to finally put one in to tie it up, and then there were 6 minutes of extra time.
Mm-hmm.
And they put another one in to win it. And it's funny because when you're there live, you don't know how much time. Like, they don't run the clock for extra time.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't
No,
say. It
correct.
it stays at 90. So we're
Correct.
going,
You're all guessing.
how long is it? And then they score, and then it was like, okay, but how much longer is
Yeah,
it?
now
You know?
hopefully there's not any time left.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, okay, call it, be
Good.
done. But it was a blast.
Good.
So
I'm glad you had fun. Now you are a soccer and wrestling girl.
yes, it is I
You did it.
wrestling and football.
I have a story.
Okay.
I have a story of courage. I have a story of heroism. I have a story of a man. So this is Saturday,
Okay.
and I am out scavenging for food for my family. I'm in the car,
Scavenging
and I get a
in the car.
I get a call
Uh-huh.
from my mother-in-law who's in town. My mother-in-law who's in town, and she goes, "Greg, we were in the backyard, and we lifted up the tub upon which into which Hank keeps his backyard toys,
Okay.
and there was a serpent. I
Ah.
couldn't look at it. I had to run to my fainting couch. Please, please, Greg, do something.
For a serpent.
So I sped home.
Mm-hmm.
And I go.
With or without food?
I had the sustenance, don't worry.
Okay. That's the real important
I
part.
go into the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
The bin is back where it was. I remove the bin, and there is the beast.
A, what,
The
3-inch garden
serpent.
snake?
A vicious serpent. And it's somewhere between 9 inches and 36 feet long.
Mhm.
Just massive.
Right.
Enormous.
Yes.
Hissing at me.
Mm-hmm.
Shaking its rattle at me. Lunging at me with its arms.
This is not a rattlesnake.
So I go to the garage.
Rattlesnakes do not exist where you live.
I go to the garage. And I grab my spade.
Uh-huh.
I go back out there. And he's still hissing and lunging at me. He tried to grab me by the throat.
Mm-hmm.
With his snake hands, and I avoided it. I lifted the spade above my head,
Mm-hmm.
and I whispered to it, "See you in snake hell." And then I descended the spade and cut it in twain.
Oh, goodness.
Of course, there was a feast and a parade to celebrate my
Mm-hmm.
heroism and my.
Did you eat the serpent?
No.
Okay. Well, that was anticlimactic.
No, I wasn't gonna eat the snake. I'm gonna do it.
So, like, it was a little garden snake?
I said it was somewhere between 9 inches and 36 feet.
Did,
And then it was somewhere between 4.5 inches and 18 feet. Two of them.
Could be either one. Did you let your 3-year-old son watch you?
Yes.
Just
Mhm.
hack at this snake?
Mhm.
Did he have nightmares?
I want to
like,
be clear. It was not one hack. It was, it was not hacking. It was one up. I mean, I really
let him out of it.
Yeah. And so, anyway, a tale of courage, tale of heroism.
Did you pick it up afterwards with your hand?
No.
Okay.
I used the spade.
The transporter at that
Exactly.
point.
Listen, it's an all-purpose tool.
Oh,
It's an all-purpose tool. Anyway, that the tale
God.
of courage.
Yeah, I just went to a soccer game.
So, did you have a parade thrown for you?
I did not.
Don't think so.
Mm-mm.
Hit the theme expo. Pickle! Hit the arid sign. Yes, y'all! From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it's Texas Football Today, a show on the internet. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live on TexasFootball.com, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, on all of the places where you listen to us in the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I'm sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She is the Duchess of the Dorks. She's Ashley Pickle.
Howdy, team.
Hi, Ashley Pickle.
Hi, friends. I hope you had a good weekend.
Do you really?
Not you, but everyone else that's watching.
Okay. Today is Monday, April 25th, 2022. 214 days till Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to Hank Azaria. You know who Hank Azaria is?
I do not.
Hank Azaria is the man who does more voices on The Simpsons than anyone else.
Ah, okay.
He does Moe.
Mm-hmm.
He does Chief Wiggum. He does Comic Book Guy. He does Snake the criminal, whose name is Snake Jailbird, which is great. Cletus the slack-jawed yokel.
Cletus.
He does a lot of them. Anyway, happy birthday to a legend, Hank Azaria.
Very nice.
He's also in. He had some show. I can't remember what Brockhampton, where he plays a. I love the thrust of it. I never saw it, but I understand the idea of it, which is basically He plays a like play-by-play guy, and apparently like big-time play-by-play guy, because he does have one of those. Well, he also has like the fake Vince Scully on the on the Simpsons and stuff. But he goes there, and for some reason he like curses on the air or something, like does something terrible.
Oof.
And so like to build back his career, he has to go back and do it at like this minor league baseball team. So it's like they have like, you know, one of the greatest announcers of all time,
right?
And it's like all-star. I heard it's good. Brockhampton, I think it's called. Anyway, Hank Azaria. Episode 1375. On today's show, friends, we've got headlines from across the state, including Transfermania.
Yeah, dude, it is popping.
And actual football happened this weekend.
Football.
Well, kind of football. We'll talk about that. In the back half of the show, we'll be joined by the new head coach of the Austin Anderson Trojans, Coach Donald Hatcher, of course, the alma mater of Lance Pickle.
Fair.
We will ask him what the Lance Pickle statue looks like today as we talk with Donald Hatcher of Austin Anderson coming up here in the back half of the program. Do it first four through the door? No, we don't, because we're on tape. Haha. I forgot.
Way to just ruin our whole bit.
We're on tape, guys. So
I don't know.
So we appreciate your comments. Do you want to just guess? Like pick four people at random.
Yeah, it's probably we're going Coach Terry Crawford, Rob Hadaway, Lau Good, and Daniel Agnew. Welcome
Good
in,
job,
fellas.
Good job. Good job. All right, let's get some headlines. Headlines from across the state. A lot of transfers to start with. We're going to start with the big one. The biggest one, I think, is that Texas Tech.
McGuire's doing something.
He's
up to something.
They're on the move here. They have added in a transfer from Texas A&M, Baylor Cup.
Can we just acknowledge the fact real fast that this is Tech adding a kid named Baylor from A&M? That's a lot.
A lot of things going on here.
It's a lot.
This is a guy who was a 5-star tight end, coming out of Brock. He was a big-time prospect coming out of Brock. It was a big get for A&M whenever they hauled him in. His 2019 and 2020 seasons were just injury ravaged. He couldn't get on the field. 2021, he played a little bit, got on the field, entered the transfer portal, 6'7", 240.
I feel like that's pretty good.
I'll just say this. When he's healthy, he's an absolute weapon.
Yeah.
But he just hasn't been healthy. So he's getting an opportunity out there at Tech. Joey McGuire hauls in Baylor Cup from Texas A&M. That's a big get there for the Red Raiders. The Longhorns of Texas added a transfer as well. This one, a big-time receiver from Alabama. Agier Hall, I believe is how you say it. Agier Hall.
That feels right.
Was the he's a Florida kid. He went to Alabama. He's a 4-star prospect in the 2021 recruiting class.
Okay, so he was not there when Sarkisian was OC.
No.
I didn't know if this was like a leftover.
No.
Product.
He was probably. Now here's the thing. He was 2021 guy, so it's possible that Sarkisian had a hand in recruiting him.
Yeah.
But
he hasn't been coached.
Correct. Yeah. In any case. He was the number 45 prospect in the nation back in the class of 2021. He has transferred from Alabama to Texas. He was the fifth ranked wide receiver in that cycle in 2021. For reference, Xavier Worthy was 8th.
Oh, okay.
So you're doing some big things there.
Yeah.
He was recruited by Steve Sarkisian, but he doesn't necessarily have that kind of he doesn't have that hands-on coaching with him. But he will now, as Agier Hall, the wide receiver from Alabama, is transferring to Texas. It'll make week 2 a little interesting.
Yeah, it will.
Even more interesting. Texas has not all been in for Texas.
There's a lot of influx.
There's been some out.
Osmosis.
And by the way, the next couple of weeks, the next week or so, is going to be like crazy. It's going to be a lot of transfers.
Because the transfer portal cuts off May 1st.
Yes.
So this is like realistically the last week.
A lot of movement here in the next week. But Texas has a couple of transfers heading out. One of them for Houston, a big pickup. They pick up offensive tackle Tyler Johnson. I think he is probably going to start at right tackle for them this year. At least I think he's going to be their best option at right tackle. So they pick up Tyler Johnson. That's a big get for Houston. He's transferring to Texas, or to Houston rather. And Alvonte Woodard, a wide receiver from Texas, has transferred to Sam Houston.
That Austin to Houston pipeline is running deep.
Big get for Sam as they bring in Alvonte Woodard, who should be a big-time playmaker for them. So then there was a report. I don't know if you saw this. There was a report from Don Harris. Don Harris, of course, the venerable sports anchor down there in San Antonio, and a guy who knows his stuff. There is he's tweeted. I'll just read his tweet from yesterday. Sources confirm that Brendan Brady has informed UTSA football that he would like to return for one final season as a graduate student. Welcome news after injuries ravaged the running back room during the spring. This is true. Obviously, they're down a number of running backs there. They lost Interior McCormick to the NFL draft. It was was it Cader Cobbs who got hurt. They were going to be pretty thin in the running back. If they were to get Brendan Brady back, if he wants to play another, because he was, I believe, I don't know what his situation was, but he does have 1 year of eligibility left.
Yes.
That if he wants to, thanks to the COVID year, if he wants to come back as a graduate student, he can play. So that would certainly be welcome news if Brendan Brady is going to return for 2022.
If nothing else, just some veteran leadership there when they lost so much.
A veteran guy in the backfield would be huge. On to the high school ranks. I don't know if we talked about this. We might not have.
This is wild. I don't know how I feel about this one.
So Childress, of course, had a – well, I don't want to say of course. It kind of depends on what you think of it. But Childress had a pretty good year last year.
Yeah.
Childress went 9-0 in the regular season, finished the regular season undefeated. But, of course, they were on the wrong end of one of the biggest upsets in recent playoff history when fourth seed Stanton beat them in the first round of the playoffs. They finished 9-1. Now comes news that Childress has reassigned Coach Jason Sims.
It's wild.
This is pretty weird, I'll be honest. Because this is a coach who knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
He's 61-22 in 7 seasons.
Yeah, I mean,
and there's a couple of questions I have. One of them is, like, really? That's one question. Secondly, let's say, because I know how this looks.
Mm-hmm.
This looks like, oh, you spit the bit in the playoffs, and so
you're done.
You're done, right? Okay, if that's how you feel, why are you doing this on April 13th?
Yeah, that. Mm-hmm. So what is there that we don't know now?
Why are you doing this on April 13th? I get, like, if you're mad that you guys got bounced in the first round of the playoffs. Yep. Okay, that's dumb. He's a really good coach. They had a bad game. It happens.
Yep.
But if that's your prerogative, why would you wait until April when all of the other great coaches, not all of them, but a lot of them are off the market?
Yep.
Or they're like a lot of the coaches you would go after are not going to do it on such short notice.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. It's one thing to demand high performance and
I get it. Childress
win.
Childress is a town that has high expectations.
Yep.
They want to win at the highest level.
Yeah, but to sit there and I don't know what that's teaching the kids at that point. Like, you can't just pull their coach after one game. Imagine how that makes them feel. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe there's something else
cool.
going on. Right now, it sure smells like it's just people who are mad.
Yeah, that sounds like small town politics written all over it.
Anyway, Childress is looking for a new head coach. Elsewhere, Georgetown Eastview has named a head coach. You may remember a couple of weeks ago when Willis came open. Willis, Coach Mike Wall led them to the playoffs in his first. He was there for 3 seasons. First 2 years as a 6A program led them to the playoffs. He departed. They brought in Trent Miller from Spring. Mm-hmm. He has found a landing place at Georgetown Eastview. Georgetown Eastview was looking for a head coach after Jared Feacock left to go take over at Cuero. So Feacock to Cuero, Mike Wall to Georgetown Eastview. Pretty good get there for the Patriots as they bring in Mike Wall, who is probably best known. He's going from Willis to Georgetown Eastview. This is a return to that kind of greater Austin area.
Yeah.
You may remember he really made a name for himself as the offensive coordinator at Lake Travis. Mm-hmm. So getting back to Central Texas makes a lot of sense for him. He was
super nice guy.
And he was at Georgetown, I should say, before that. So kind of makes sense. He's got a history there. Tulia's hired a head coach. Tulia, the Hornets, have hired Oscar Murga. Oscar Murga is the defensive coordinator from Lubbock High. After Stephen Corsi was reassigned after 2 seasons, Oscar Murga is the new head coach there at Tulia. Jewett Leon has made a hire. This is we're kind of rounding out coaching search season.
Yeah.
There's only a few open positions at this point. But Jewett Leon has hired Normandy assistant Derek Thomas to be their new head coach. Charlotte's made a hire. Charlotte has brought in San Antonio Wagner offensive coordinator Ben Jacobs to be their head coach after Sean Vowell was out after 2 seasons with the Trojans. And then Lockney. Lockney's made a hire. Lockney has hired Ryan McAllister. Ryan McAllister was most recently the offensive coordinator there at Idalou. So we'll have a new head coach out there at Lockney, 2A Division 2. It is Ryan McAllister, former Idalou offensive coordinator. And then, Pickle,
Football.
We had football this weekend.
We did.
Underwear football.
Greg Powers was out there.
Out there, and by out there, you mean in Melissa.
Yes.
For the first 7-on-7 state qualifying tournament.
Yeah.
2022. Melissa had the first one. And we got a great piece up on TexasFootball.com from Greg Powers about, I believe, 4 different quarterbacks that really impressed him.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go check that out. We do have our first 2 qualifiers for the state tournament. They are Colleyville Heritage, who beat Flower Mount Marcus in the state qualifying round, and Wichita Falls Rider, who beat host Melissa in the state qualifying round for their spot to punch their tickets to College Station.
That's
we have
big
our first
doings there for Rider.
Yeah, for sure. We have our first 2 tickets punched. Colleyville Heritage and Wichita Falls Rider are heading to College Station this summer for the state 7-on-7 tournament, which I guess we can say again.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch live on TexanLive.com.
Yeah, buddy.
We're doing it again.
We're back.
Anyway, congratulations to Colleyville Heritage and Wichita Falls Rider. They're off to College Station this summer. We're at Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbells. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbells, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. TexasFootball.com is where you can find complete coverage of high school football, college football, and recruiting all across the Lone Star State. Hope you'll consider becoming a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider at TexasFootball.com/subscribe. If you want the 2022 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football mailed to you before it hits newsstands, we hope you'll go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Makes a great gift. Mother's Day is coming up. If you love your mom,
Get her a football magazine.
That is the spirit.
Pickle approved.
That's the spirit right there. Get your mom a subscription to Dave Campbell's Texas Football. She'll love it. And if she doesn't, then get it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And also, question your mom.
Yeah. If she doesn't.
Moms aren't infallible. Let's be real.
No. I, if I was a mother, would love a football magazine.
I was gonna say, right? My mother is a subscriber.
Yeah, let's go. So is Trish.
Yeah. What are you, better than our moms?
I don't think so.
Pickle, let's go to the hotline. And let's bring in the new head coach of the Austin Anderson Trojans. We're joined by Coach Donald Hatcher. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing good. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on this morning.
How are things on the east side?
It's going good, going really good. The kids came up this morning, actually, and we got a workout in before it started raining.
Oh, fantastic! Even better. I'm interested. You know, you've spent the most recently you were the defensive coordinator at Little Elm. You've spent the past handful of years up here in the DFW Metroplex. But you're a guy who's heading back to Austin, where you have some roots there. I'm interested how much of your history there in Austin played into your interest in this job there with the Trojans.
Oh, it was 100%. 100%. That's I grew up in Rockdale, right outside of Austin. My parents still live there. My sister lives down here, and just a bunch of family and friends live down here. So it was when we packed up and moved to DeSoto and Little Elm, we left everybody behind to start new up there. So it was 100% was knowing the area, get back this way.
You take over a program that, maybe in need of a jolt and maybe most importantly in need of a little bit of consistency. This is you're going to be the third head coach for these guys in the last 3 seasons. I'm interested when you talked to your guys for the first time and you addressed them as their head coach, what was your message to them?
The message was, it was clear from where I've been. I've been in this game for 20 years. I've only been at 4 spots. Mm-hmm. I look for longevity. I was at DeSoto for 7 years. I was at Little Elm for 7 years. And I have a son that's going to be a freshman and then another son in 3rd grade. So for me, it's about finding stability for my family as well. So it was to tell them, to try to gain some trust with them, let them know this is not a 1 year and done for me. I'm here for as long as I can stay here. Like I love the area down here. And I know that I told them, I'm like, I know you've had in the past, you've had new coaches, but trust me, and I'm going to be here with y'all guys for the long haul.
Did you sense in talking with your guys that I don't want to tell you, hey, great message, you talk. So, but at the same time, did you sense the sense that they needed to hear something? They need to hear somebody say, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be your coach for a while now. You don't have to worry about me looking at the door.
Correct. Yes, you could see that, and I've heard that from some of them, because as soon as I was announced, the kids started reaching out to me on Twitter and through text messages and everything. So they were reaching out to me that morning after I was announced. So that was good. They wanted to hear it, and then you hear it, but then you got to show it to them too. So I was around them every day. Right now, if there's an event going on, I'm having the guys show up to support all the programs, all the other sports going on, and just building that relationship with them, letting them know I'm going to be here with them.
Talking with Donald Hatcher, the new head coach of the Austin Anderson Trojans here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation at hashtag TF Today. Coach, you inherit a program that went 3-7 last year, but a program that certainly is not short on talent. I'm interested, on the hoof, when you take a look at the guys that you're inheriting, what do you see on this roster, at least for 2022 is concerned?
We definitely have some talent. We'll have a strong senior class, good leadership. And that's one thing that I can build off of. Those guys right there, Fred Dale coming back as a quarterback, threw for 2,200 yards last year. You got Jack Middleton, offensive lineman, that's a sophomore, going to be a junior, that started last year. That's a phenomenal athlete. Cole Canada, he's a two-way player at wide receiver and safety. He's a deep threat to go get something. Then you have Ivy Webb, who's my middle linebacker that was first team all-district last year. And then Ed Small, who started as a freshman, that's actually starting on the varsity baseball team too in center field. So there's a lot of talent here that I can build around. And one thing that most head coaches won't say, I actually believe my offensive line will be one of my strongest positions on the field this year.
That's interesting. You don't hear coaches say that a lot, but you must be
I
confident.
was fired up with it. I'm fired up with it.
Okay, that's certainly good to hear. And the other thing about Anderson that maybe people don't know, we're a football show, but this is a program that is it's been pretty successful in a lot of other sports as well.
Yes.
This is a good track program. The boys basketball, the girls basketball have both been pretty successful in recent years. How much do you think that plays into the possibility of you guys getting this turned around pretty quickly?
Big time. Right now, I'm definitely talking to all the coaches and all of the kids that play other sports and just asking them, what are you doing that's made you so successful with your program, and then getting the kids to be multi-sport athletes, which we've already done that. We've got 4 or 5 guys that are wanting to cross over and make a change on the football team. So for me to hear these kids that they're willing to do that, we work with their schedule. If I got one he's primary baseball, but I'm like, hey, this is when I want to use you, and parents are like, that's great, coach. If you can make this happen, we're all in 100% for football. So it's all about working the schedule and making sure that I know football is their secondary sport, but they're willing to come help the program out as long as we're able to keep them on track with their primary sport. And that's what I'm a big believer in multi-sport athletes. Those are your best athletes. And we're at Anderson going into 6A. We're not at the numbers level to compete like that. So we got to have a lot of athletes crossing over to help all the other sports be successful.
You're a longtime defensive coordinator, longtime defensive guy, and this is your first head coaching job. I'm interested. What is a Donald Hatcher football club going to look like? What can we expect from this ball club?
Well, we're going to be intense. We're going to have a lot of energy and go. I came up from Claude Mathis, from Somerville to LBJ to DeSoto, and he basically groomed me. And I'm kind of, Claude Mathis. You're getting the same version of Claude Mathis and me with the way I coach and the way I teach. Is no one's going to outcoach me on the football field.
That's absolutely right. So, that is Coach Mathis. That is for darn sure. Donald Hatcher of Austin Anderson joined us here. Okay, another guy that you coached under for the past few years was Kendrick Brown. Kendrick Brown there at Little Elm, who's done a great job there with the Lobos. What do you feel like you're going to take from your time with Coach Brown that you're going to bring with you to the East Side?
With Coach Brown, I mean, when Coach Mathis went to SMU, he called me up that night. It's like, hey, I want you out here at Little Elm with me, and it was that night we started getting going. He's just a guy that, for me, he believed in me and taught me how to believe in my coaches, let coaches coach. So and not a micromanager. Let you do your thing and let you coach you guys and build the relationships. That's what I take from him, is that he was really good with me of getting out there and letting my guys go out there and do their thing.
Finally, Coach, I want to ask you a little bit about, you mentioned the move up to 6A. You guys are moving from 5A to 6A, and the good news is that the UIL did you a favor and put you into a real soft district.
Yes, it did. I thank them every day for that.
Yeah, no notes. Teams like Lake Travis, Austin Westlake, Bowie, Dripping Springs, etc. So what's the approach here? I mean, this is a big, beefy, dangerous district. How do you approach not only moving up to 6A, but also moving up to 6A with some of the very best programs, certainly in the Austin area and arguably in the state?
Yes, well, the last 15 years, like I said, being at DeSoto and Little Elm, every year we played Allen, we played Denton Guy, we played Prosper. So playing the high level of competition like that's no change for me. It's just changing the name on the jersey, and we just got to preach to our kid. It's one game at a time, and focus on the person in front of you, and not the name of the school that's out there. Do your job, and our motto this year is find a way. Find a way to get it done no matter who's on the field with us, and have fun. Have fun playing football and getting out there and making a name for yourself to where when you get on the field, people are scared to play you.
Finally, Coach, I do have to ask you, you mentioned growing up in Rockdale, and then you had some time there at LBJ. LBJ, of course, last year made it to a state championship game, themselves making history there for Austin ISD. What was that experience like for you, watching that program that you have such close ties with make such a deep run?
It was great. I mean, to see, being at LBJ, knowing where it started at, and the tradition that it has, and plus the offense coordinator, Amasha Brantley, I coached him. He was our running back when we were there.
Really?
So seeing guys that I coached at their alma mater and moving forward, it's special, because those kids are a reflection of you as a coach, and to see them doing exactly what you taught them and coaching other guys to continue the legacy in our profession it was enjoyable to watch.
He's Donald Hatcher. He's the new head coach of the Austin Anderson Trojans. Coach, really appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the new job. We're so excited to see what you're able to do there on the east side.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all for having me on. I hope y'all have a good one.
Absolutely. There he goes, Donald Hatcher, head coach of the Austin Anderson Trojans. Joining us here at Texas Football Today. Of course, the alma mater of Dick Night Train Lane. And
that's something.
And also, that's a Pro Football Hall of Famer.
I know.
Put some respect on that Night Train. And also Lance Pickle.
Yeah, they're basically the same human.
I can't tell them apart.
I have never seen them in the same room together.
It's a great point.
And I've known him for 25 years at this point. Well, one of them.
It is interesting. He's heading back down to Austin. He's got great ties down there, and obviously a great history down there. It is, to go in and to be dropped into a program that is moving up. They're on their third coach in 3 years.
Yeah.
They're moving up to 6A. They're getting dropped into the Lake Travis Westlake district. Yeah. Like there were 5 teams that won 9 or more games last year in this district. Westlake, Lake Travis, Bowie, Dripping Springs, and Buda Johnson all won 9 games at least.
Yeah, that was.
And that's not to mention Westlake, who was pretty clearly like the best team in 6A, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. They were the best team in Texas high school
Right.
football in regards to any classification.
Right. So the challenge is in front of them.
Yep.
I think they've got some dudes. It's going to be, I'll be honest, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough sledding, I think, at least for this first year. But I think that, this is a guy who's obviously passionate about it. And most importantly, I think you heard what he said of, like, I went to these guys and said, guys, I'm not going anywhere.
That's the biggest thing.
Because they had an interim last year in Roger Thompson. The year before they had a different coach. Now they've got him. And I think sometimes you just need somebody to say, guys, don't worry.
I'm here to
I'll
stay.
be here tomorrow.
Especially when realignment just happened and you get dropped into a district like that. You want someone who's not going to turn around a year later and go, second thought, I don't really want to do this. That goes a long way.
Right. So, and we appreciate Donald Hatcher humming on with us. Okay, that's going to do for us. We are off on Tuesday and Wednesday. I gave away the game earlier that this is on tape. But this is do you have final thoughts?
No, that programming note was going to be it. Shout out Mallory for running the show for us.
Mallory, thanks for sitting in that chair and running the recorded show. We are out Tuesday and Wednesday, but we will. Great way to end it. We will be back on Thursday,
Yes.
so we do hope you'll stay tuned with us.
We'll see.
Yeah, we might just live at this place
That
So,
we're headed to.
yeah. It's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to Donald Hatcher of Austin Anderson for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please get your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you Thursday on Texas Football Today.